Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. Hello everyone, how's it going? My name is Ellias, and in today's video I'll be talking about my most anticipated reads of the books I want to read in 2022. This year, I wanted to make things a little bit different compared to my last most anticipated reads video of 2021, because in that video I think I've read like 5 out of the 15 books I listed. So this year, I only cracked down the top books I truly want to read in 2022. Granted, there will be other books I will find out later down the line, but we'll get there when it gets to that point. Another factor that I also wanted to bring up with this video is that I will not be including any sequels to any of the books or in the series that I want to read. Just because it's on my radar already, I can list like 3 books at the top of my head, the final and third book in the Dreamer trilogy, and some of my favorite adult paranormal authors, Anne Bishop and Patricia Briggs. They're both coming out with sequels this year, but for now I'm just going to keep the books on this list as standalones or newly discovered. So 2022, I am determined and striving to make this year my best reading year yet of reading and completing 100 books while also staying mentally healthy and sane at that. So before we get further into the video, a message from today's video sponsor. So BetterHelp, that's betterhelp, is essentially an affordable way to get online counseling through an online platform. So this year, in 2022, in the new year, we're all striving to achieve our goals, whether they're new or not. You know, trying to have a healthier mental attitude and mindset about it while trying to live our best life at the same time. And with BetterHelp, it's a great way to go about it. This is professional counseling online with the mental health resources you need. So once you input your personal information on their website, they will access your needs and match you with a licensed therapist that fits those needs. And from there, you can have scheduled sessions accordingly through video chats, messaging, and even phone calls. They have over 20,000 licensed therapists. It's professional therapy done securely online. It's more affordable than offline therapy, and financial aid is also available to those who need it as well. You can log in at any time, and since it's all online and remote, it's worldwide. If you would like to start living happier and healthier today, you can visit betterhelp.com/Ellias. That's betterhelp, where you can get 10% off your first month and join over 2 million people taking charge of their mental health with an experienced professional. So everything will be linked down in the description box below, and thank you once again to BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. So if you see me looking down at any point in the video, it's because I'll be looking at my laptop at all the releases and publication dates for these books. So I'll be going through these books in publication order and not by genre. Alright, before we get any further, I also want to preface by saying that if you hear any weird background noises, it's that they're doing construction work and it's pretty much inevitable to ignore, so apologies for that. First one up being To Paradise by Hanya, Yanagihara. So it goes without saying, not much surprise here, because I absolutely loved and was devastated and heartbroken by A Little Life, as many of you were, I'm sure, as well. So this would be my second read from this author, and my expectations are somewhat hesitant because I'm not expecting this book to be on par as A Little Life. Rather, I'm expecting it to be extremely different. I'm getting like sort of a dystopian and Cloud Atlas vibes, if you get what I mean. This one primarily follows 3 distinct POVs, 3 different stories, and how they sort of all interconnect with each other. The only reason why I'm picking this one up is because it's by Hanya Yanagihara, solely based on the author and what she did to me with A Little Life. I have not yet read her first book. I believe it's called The People in the Trees. I do plan on reading that, but you can also expect a reading vlog here for this big bad boy. I think this is like 730 pages. This one is also out already by the time this video is up. This one came out in the US on January 11th, and my copy is already on its way. So the next book I want to read is a thriller, and this one is The Night Shift by Alex Finlay. This one comes out on March 1st. I'm really interested in this one because it sounds like it has a really unique premise to it. I have never read from the author before, but it takes place in 1999 and subsequent years later. So it mainly follows the event where this Blockbuster video store is attacked, where 4 teens are killed and one of them escapes. And then 15 years later, at an ice cream store, 4 teens are killed while one of them makes it out alive. And so in the aftermath, we follow these 3 characters and how their lives intersect. The survivor of the Blockbuster massacre, the brother of the original suspect who's convinced the police have it wrong, and an FBI agent who's determined to solve both cases. It says that all 3 lives will be forever changed and not everyone will make it out alive. So that's pretty much all I know about this, and I'm very excited to see where this one goes. So the next book coming out in March 15th, is 9 Lives by Peter Swanson. So Peter Swanson, to me, I think his books have been at a declining rate. I have not really enjoyed his subsequent releases as much as I did with the first couple of books that I read from him. Still by far, my first top pick from him will be The Kind Worth Killing. That one is just top tier thriller, and nothing he has written so far has come close yet. This one does sound pretty simple, but also intriguing as well. So the story follows 9 strangers who receive a cryptic list with their names on it, and then they begin to die in highly unusual circumstances. So that is pretty much all I know and want to know regarding this book and just thrillers in general. I just want to know very little, especially about the story going in. Here's to hoping that this will be another fantastic read from Peter Swanson. So moving on into April 5th to be exact, is Portrait of a Thief by Grace D. Lee. This cover is just mwah, chef's kiss. One of my favorite covers of 2022 for sure. So this one sounds fantastic. I am so excited to read this because it's supposedly Ocean's 11 meets The Farewell, and I am absolutely here for this combo. Now, this one follows a senior college student at Harvard, Will Chen, who goes out to recruit 4 other college students and helping him steal back 5 priceless Chinese artifacts looted from Beijing centuries ago. I don't know why, but this is the type of book and premise where I can see being marketed as YA, but I am extremely happy that it is adults. So these 5 college students, if they succeed, they earn $50 million and a chance to make history. But if they fail, it would not just mean the loss of everything they dreamed of for themselves, but yet another thwarted attempt to take back what colonialism has stolen. Preach it, baby. I'm here for it. I am extremely pumped for this book, and April 5th can't come any sooner. So moving on onto the month of May 3rd to be exact, we have The Book of Night by Holly Black. So I am interested in reading this because of 2 things. 1, Holly Black. Duh. 2, adult fantasy. That's pretty much it. Like, I don't even need to know what this book is about. I just know that for my enjoyment of what I have read from her, The Cruel Prince, I'm extremely curious and intrigued and excited to see what she'll bring and come up with in this new adult fantasy series. And I am getting some semblance of Shadowhunter vibes. Aside from her like fairy series, The Cruel Prince and the Spiderwick Chronicles, those are the only books that I have read from her. I have not read any of the Shadowhunter books aside from the first one, The Mortal Instruments, and I was not a big fan, honestly, but that was like years ago. This will be published by Tor Books, who are also publishing a plethora of the books on this list. I don't know, Tor, man, they just hit different. They're like literally one of my favorite book publishing companies just because all of their books feels like an art house vibe to them. They feel like A24 films, if you know what I mean, in the film industry. I feel like that's what it is for Tor. I just get that cool art house. We're not like other girl vibes from Tor. And that's a good thing because I feel like a lot of the books that they publish are just, I don't know, unconventional, not basic or simple. Not to bash other book publishing companies, but I don't know, Tor just hits different. All right, so moving on into June 21st, we have another book from Tor. I'm telling you, Tor, they keep on feeding us. This one sounds too good to be true. This one is A Taste of Gold and Iron by Alexandra Rowland. All I'm gonna give you are breadcrumbs, okay? But these are delicious breadcrumbs that will literally feed you for the whole year. This one is a queer adult fantasy about a prince who falls in love with his bodyguard. That's all. That's pretty much all I wanted to know. I literally saw the cover of this book on Twitter, so I can thank Twitter for that. Thank God, finally, hopefully it'll be good because, I mean, I have faith. It's Tor, it's adult, it's fantasy, it's queer, and it does have some of my favorite tropes. We have the cool Cinnabon prince and the cool arrogant bodyguard. Enemies to lovers here, which I am totally here for, and I can expect this summer to be simmering and steaming hot. So, here for it. So moving on into July 7th, we have The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. Alright, so Riley Sager, we are going to pretend that Survive the Night did not exist, and this is your long-awaited comeback from the previous book that was not Survive the Night. Okay? This will be the chance to redeem yourself, but I am also really kind of hesitant and cautious going into this one, just because it does sound really, really simple and basic. It really sounds like your straightforward thriller, and that's not a bad thing. But coming from this man who has written some of my favorite thrillers that I have read, I do have some expectations going in. But we'll see. It's about a recently widowed actress who wants to escape the streak of bad press and moves into her family lake house in Vermont. So armed with a pair of binoculars and several bottles of liquor, we have our main unreliable character, Casey. We love to see it. So what do you know? She plays Peeping Tom with this new glamorous couple across the lake at this new hot couple, and she actually strikes a budding friendship with the female character. However, to her shock, the female character goes missing and her husband seems really suspicious. Obviously, Casey finds out that not all is as seems and that looks can be deceiving. So there you have it. Honestly, if it weren't for Riley Sager's name attached to this book, I probably wouldn't even be interested in the first place in picking this one up, just because it sounds like every other thriller that I have seen and read before. Crossing my fingers, here's to hoping that this will subvert my expectations and be for the better. So the next book, also coming out in July 12th, is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. Again, we have another book published by Tor, and this one is a retelling of the fall of the House of Usher. Listen, I grew up reading stories from Edgar Allan Poe, and the fall of the House of Usher is most memorable to me. So this book and this cover, absolutely stunning. This cover is giving me weird vibes, but I'm absolutely here for it because, you know, in 2022, weird vibes, but we're all here for it. So, can't really say too much more about this book other than the fact that, again, I'm really excited to read it. Alright, so the last 3 books on this list all coincidentally come out on the same exact day in August. So on August 23rd, first up we have Daphne by Josh Malerman. So now we have here another horror supernatural slasher book following a female basketball team. So the plot doesn't give away too much, but it follows this myth, this legend at their local school where if you think about this girl named Daphne, you mysteriously disappear or die under these circumstances. And so when her teammates begin to vanish one by one, she has to find out what the fuck is happening and the truth behind the legend before the summer of her lifetime becomes the last summer of her life. And so that's pretty much it, but it does sound promising. Moving on. Alright, so the next book, coming out on August 23rd, we have another standalone from my thriller queen Karin Slaughter, Girl Forgotten. It doesn't even have a cover or a blurb yet, but that's besides the point. Anything that this woman will write, I will read. That's a given. I don't even know what this book is about, and I don't even care. I honestly still need to go back and read her backlist titles, and that is something that I'm hoping to accomplish this year as well. Alright, so last and not least, coming out on August 23rd, we have Babel, or An Arcane History of the Oxford Translators' Revolution. All I know about this book is that it follows this character who is brought to London by this mysterious professor where he trains for years in Latin, Ancient Greek, and Chinese, all in preparation to enroll at Oxford's University prestigious Royal Institute of Translation, aka Babel. I've also heard this book being pronounced as Babel, which I think is just really cute because it sounds like babe. I don't know, that didn't really make any sense. But personally for me, I'm just gonna call it Babel. So Babel is the world center of translation and more importantly of silver working, which is, basically the art of manifesting the meaning lost in translation through enchanted silver bars to a magical effect. I have no idea what that means, but it has also mean that it has made the British Empire unparalleled in power, and Babel's research in foreign languages serves the Empire's quest to colonize everything it encounters. Yeah, sounds about right. Anyways, our main character, Robin, is recruited by this shadowy Herm Society, an organization dedicated to sabotaging the silver working that supports imperial expansion. Babel, in of itself, is a thematic response to the secret history and a tonal response to Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell grapples with student revolutions, colonial resistance, and the use of translation as a tool of empire. So it does sound a lot initially to take in at first. It does give me the feel of like a textbook vibe. It does give me the vibe of enrolling in like a prestigious theology or philosophy class. I do think I personally prefer the UK cover instead of the US. I don't know, something about the font I'm just not a fan of. Also, this book is written by R.F. Kuang, and fun fact, I've actually read one of her books before, The Poppy War, and contrast to popular belief, I actually did not like this book as much as I thought I would, which was sort of a surprise to me because I think I read this just as it was rising in the cusp of its peak before everyone started talking about it. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was good. I just thought it wasn't enough to warrant my interest in reading the other 2 books. I like the writing style, I just couldn't care for the characters or the story in general. I know that this book has a huge fan base and that it's beloved by many. I personally thought it wasn't that great, and that this book, Babel, is her venture into sort of like a non-traditional fantasy format. Alright, so that is pretty much it. My top 11 books I want to read in 2022 so far. I'm pretty sure beyond the line, especially beyond August, that there will be books I'll hear later about and get real excited to read them. I might make a part 2 to this video like I did last year in the near future, so keep a lookout for that. Anyways, please let me know down in the comments below what are some of your most anticipated reads of 2022. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you all soon with a new video. While staying of reading while also staying mentally sane and healthy, while also mentally staying, while also the survivor of the Blockbuster Massacre, the survivor of the Blockbuster Massacre, the survivor of the Blockbuster, oh, la, 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 and nothing 9 strangers who receive a cryptic, oh, la, la, la. I can't say cryptic, fucking tick, bitch, a cryptic list with their names on it, and then begin, oh my god, I can't speak, what's happening to me? We're going to 22 with a mental breakdown already.